Hey everybody, welcome in. It's the Full Court Press podcast, talking everything local hoops with Jason Guarente, Jeff Reinhart here. LNP and Lancaster Online. We have reached the state playoffs. One round is in, and this week we have round 2 and the state quarters. Jason, we're still hooping.
Still going. We had baseball, softball, and tennis media day on Sunday, yep. And basketball is still chugging along. The season that never quits.
No, and we still have a lot of teams going here. 5 girls teams, 3 boys teams?
3 boys, yeah.
All right, let's start there. Who's left, and give me the matchups for Tuesday, Wednesday.
5A, we have Cocalico and Octorara, and 3A, we have Lancaster Mennonite. So the 2 league finalists.
Still dancing.
And Cocalico, which nearly made the semis in District 3, but lost to Octorara in that great game. So not surprising that those would be the 3 teams to get through. They were probably the 3 best bets, that had the best chance to win. Yeah. Cocalico gets District 7 champ Chartiers Valley at Altoona Tuesday at 5. Incredibly difficult matchup, obviously, whenever you're talking about a District 7 champion. Octorara gets District 1-4 Springfield Delco. That's at Coatesville, Tuesday at 7:30. And Mennonite gets District 11 champ Notre Dame Green Pond at Hamburg, Wednesday at 6. Notre Dame Green Pond played that famous football game against Garden Spot. Do you remember?
74 to whatever.
This will be lower scoring than that football game.
You're probably right. Yeah, that's one of your all-time favorite memories.
My goodness.
Was covering that game.
That game ended at like 10-20, I think.
That kid passed for like 700 yards or something.
Every possession was a touchdown. It was insane.
Yikes. Girls matchups as follows. 1 game Tuesday night. Pequay Valley, District 3 runner-up, still playing. And they get a rematch. They play Schuylkill Haven, who they beat in this round last year by 3.
Okay.
That game is at Geigel at Reading.
Great place to play.
Great place to play. I haven't been there in a while. Used to be there a lot. A lot of our teams played there, but I haven't been there in 4 or 5 years. So looking forward to that trip. Wednesday, multiple games. 5A, LS is still playing.
That was probably the shocker of the first round from an LL standpoint.
Yeah, they beat the District 1 champ, Radnor, by 10. LS scored 24 points in the fourth quarter to rally and win. So good on the Pioneers. They play Mount St. Joseph on Wednesday. That game is at Coatesville at 7:30. I'm actually going to go to that. The other 5A team, how about Manheim Central?
That was another one.
They had to go to Pittsburgh and play Thomas Jefferson, the Whippeal runner-up, and Central wins 43-41. So they get Peters Township, another Whippeal team. They're good. That game is Wednesday at Altoona at the Fieldhouse. 5A, 3A, and then we got 2 1A teams still playing. New Covenant Christian, CCAC champ, District 3 champ, CCAC runner-up. They play Delco Christian. That game is Wednesday at Coatesville at 6 o'clock. And Linville Hill, trying to get back to the state final.
Still standing.
They're still. They didn't win their division. They didn't win their league. And here they are. They're still playing. They beat Sacred Heart in the first round. They get Southern Fulton out of District 5.
Yeah, that's a winnable game.
That's a winnable game.
Yeah, they are a resilient bunch.
Big time. They play Southern Fulton. That game is Wednesday night at Chambersburg. So we got some drives coming up here for these teams. Okay, let's try to break these down a little bit. There's not a lot of games, but we'll share some info about what we know about these teams. So.
Well, for starters, states is kind of a different animal, isn't it?
Yes.
It depends on whether teams are still focused and still motivated, whether they still have enough gas left in the tank.
Yes.
You'll see District 7 champs get bounced in the first round because they just can't keep going. It's a long season.
It is very long.
And the playoffs, especially if you're in District 3, you're a month into the playoffs now, and you just have to keep playing these, intense, hard-fought games. And I think that's why you see a few crazy results that you never would have predicted in the first round.
I always kind of say this time of year. You want to win. You want to get to Hershey. You want to go deep. This time of year, it's mental. Mm-hmm. Do I want to keep playing? Do I want to go do a 2-hour practice? Spring sports have started. A lot of these kids play spring sports. it's mental. It's mental toughness at this point, and I think the teams that get to Hershey win the mental battle more than anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I look at Radnor, for example.
Yeah.
I don't know their roster, but that is not a basketball-first school, and I wonder if a bunch of those girls are, primarily another sport, and then you get to March, and are you super hungry to keep this thing going? It's hard. It's really a challenge.
It's really hard. Okay, break down your first boys game.
Well, Cocalico's at Chartiers Valley, District 7 champ, 24-2.
Ooh.
Their only losses are Fox Chapel and Moon. Moon still
playing.
Yeah,
I
they
think.
advanced. They beat Hershey, so Moon's really good. So,
okay.
So this is one of the best teams in 5A, Chartiers Valley. They beat Exeter by 24. Exeter's pretty good. They won 3 qualifiers to get in.
Interesting.
In the that 9 bracket for the ninth
keep
place
playing
team.
and playing and playing.
And Chartiers Valley made 15 threes in that game.
15.
So defend the perimeter. Timmy Hambright will probably surpass 700 points now because they got this extra game. This was Cocalico's first state win since 1984.
84?
Which, was a long time ago.
That was my freshman year in high school.
You and I were young bucks then.
Oh, man.
None of these kids were even a dot in their parents' eye at that point.
No.
But yeah, and you don't think about this, but only a handful of LL teams have won a state championship, and Cocalico did in the 70s.
That's
so
right.
it was once a very storied program. And
Oh,
I thought this for them was the really important win. I think it made their season. It gave them that signature moment.
Definitely.
They didn't get to the semis of districts, and they didn't make the league playoffs, but they got this. They're the team that ended the state playoff drought. So
that's awesome.
I think that's a good feather in their cap.
Yeah, good for those guys.
Octorara gets Springfield Delco. Real defensive-minded team. They play a slow pace. They allow 39 points a game.
Okay.
So contrasting styles here. Octorara prefers to get up and down the court a little bit more.
Big time.
22-4 Springfield Delco. They beat District 2 champ Abington Heights 49-47.
They're usually good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a grinded out kind of game. Delco's probably not going to blow your doors off.
Okay.
They just kind of wear you down and pull away a little bit at the end, and next thing you know, you lose like 52-42 or something like that. That's kind of how they play. They lost to Pencrest and Holy Ghost Prep in districts, and those are 2 really good teams. So 1-4 is not the sign of weakness. That's just a sign of how good District 1 is. I think Octorara has a shot at this.
Hey, why not?
And the other, to the top half of the bracket is Upper Dublin and Bonner Prendy. So this is a better matchup than those 2 teams.
Yeah.
And so either Upper Dublin or Bonner Prendy's going out early. One's a District 1 champ and one's one of the favorites in the field. So this isn't a bad spot.
You told me this story the other day. Repeat it here on the record. The teams that Octorara lost to in districts, the big 3 or whatever, they're out?
The big 2.
The big 2, they're gone.
It's funny, the PIAA uses state playoffs as a big part of their formula to bump teams up.
Yes.
But then you have Octorara lost to Hershey by more than 30 and to Milton Hershey by 26, and both those teams got bounced in the first round. Which shows you it's about matchups. It's about luck of the draw.
Surely.
Some great team gets bounced early in their district tournament. Now all of a sudden, they're like a district, like a 4th or 5th place team, but they're really good. There's a lot of luck to it. So, but Octorara's playing and those teams aren't. West York, the District 3 champ, is still playing. So they have a real shot to make a run at this thing. 5A is not as overloaded as 6A, so there's some opportunity there.
Good for Octorara.
That was big for them to get a state win.
Gigantic.
Yeah. Each year has a different step. Like that's the one thing they hadn't done is win a state game with this group. So they did.
That was good to see because they ran into that gauntlet in districts after such a great regular season, making that league finals. Kind of puts a stamp on the season. Got a state win. That's
they beat
awesome.
Frankfurt by 12, 69-57. And District 12, that used to be a crushing matchup, but now it's a winnable game, and they took advantage of it.
Good on those guys. All right, what's the other boys' game?
Mennonite, Notre Dame Green Pond. Mennonite played this a rock fight, I guess we'll call it.
Go for it.
Against Lansdale Catholic.
Slugfest.
It was more than a slugfest. It was hard to watch.
You texted me, and you're like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I can't text,
I don't know, man.
I can't text you the word I used to describe this game. I can't say that on the air. But, it was just a lot of fouls. And when you start calling 17, 18 fouls, and teams, Mennonite plays 5 guys pretty much.
Yeah.
2 guys have 4 fouls in the third quarter. Now you're not playing the game you played all season.
No, not even close.
And Jeff Hardenstein had Jackson Bear with 4 fouls with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter and didn't take him out.
Stayed in.
He had to. He felt like he had to roll the dice. Bill Rothwine had 4 fouls, and he kind of shuttled back and forth on defense and offense to keep him in the game.
How much gas does Mennonite have left in the tank?
I wonder.
Is there yellow light on, or are they a quarter tank? Like, where are they?
They played 6 playoff games.
That's a lot.
And those league games were just
killers.
Brutally
they were close.
tough.
Yeah.
Then they played the Trinity district final that they lost, and they had some rest, but then they get stuck with this Catholic League team that's physical and athletic, and they get downhill on you, and you try to play defense, and everything's a foul.
Yeah.
It's a hard way to play. The score was 34-30. There were 40 free throws. Does anyone want to watch that?
No, that's too many.
It was a mess.
Wonder where the crew was from.
I don't know.
District 3 crew? I don't know.
It wasn't a District 3 group that I recognized. But,
okay. It happens.
But this is a game they played last year. It was Catasauqua, the District 11 champ, and they won on a last-second shot. Cody Fisher had 26 points in that game, and that was his signature moment, and I guess his last big moment for Mennonite. So it's that kind of game, I feel like. It's going to come down to the fourth quarter, and Green Pond is 25-3. They have a guy named Justin Manning who has 570 points this season.
That's a lot.
Yeah, they shoot a ton of threes. Their coach, Pat Boyles, won 500 games, so he's been there forever.
Oh, okay.
So it's a team that's historically successful. And I feel like this is the kind of game you get in states, right? Both teams are really good, and who can pull it out.
And I think you've said the last couple of weeks, once you get to state second round quarterfinals, flip a coin, crapshoot, matchups.
Yeah, you could get an easy one in the first round, but not in the second round.
Yeah, we saw. All right, should I bring up the thing?
Let's
I wasn't
talk
sure
about
if I wanted
District
to talk about it
12
or not. Okay,
and how every entry in the field is either an overpowering force of nature or a team that can't score 20 points.
Yeah, and we talked about it last week. And again, I'll preface this with, we're not busting on anybody.
No,
we're not.
But it's affecting the field.
It is, and I'm just dropping facts here. Friday night, the first night of states, the 3 District 12 teams that we thought would win won. Imhotep, Archbishop Carroll, and Cardinal O'Hara. They won. Okay. The other 10, 0-10. Okay, 0-10. One team scored 41, and they lost by like 15. Mm-hmm. The other 9 games, those teams lost by an aggregate 56-18.
Yeah.
One team had a 9. One team had 5 in a state game. A couple teams had 14. A couple teams had 13. They weren't pretty scores. And we sat here and talked about it last week. Should a team that played 8 games be in the state bracket? So I kind of kept an eye on those scores. And again, I'm not busting on District 12. Like we said last week, they do things a little differently there. And a lot of those teams just got, overpowered? Can I use that word?
Well, I don't think you necessarily play your way into the field in District 12. Yeah. You're kind of placed by where you finish. Yeah. It's not like in District 3 where you have to win a first-round game to keep your season, in most cases, whereas District 12, like Lansdale Catholic, has to play 1 game in a month just to get into states. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's apples to oranges. Everyone's not playing the same game here.
No.
So it has to be uniform. If you can't, you shouldn't be 8-15 with 1 game in the last month and on the same court with Lancaster Mennonite, who's been grinding it out every day. Yeah. I mean, Lansdale Catholic got an opportunity that Mennonite had to earn that was much harder for the Blazers to earn.
Yeah. I don't know what you do at this point. I mean, we've had these brackets, which we have in front of us. We've had these brackets forever. And it's, 32, and we said, are too many teams getting in? Yeah.
32 is a lot.
That's a lot.
With 6 classifications.
But then if they say, okay, well, we're only going to make it 16, well, then it gets really tough. Who do you let in? But
that's how it works in a lot of sports. Field hockey
Yeah,
and soccer, it's incredibly difficult to make. You make states, and that's a real achievement.
it's the state playoffs. This should be cream of the crop teams that are in this. Nothing against 6 seeds and 7 seeds. There's a couple 7 seeds still playing. Mannheim Central's a 7, and they're still playing. Good on them. But it's like, okay, like how many teams should get in this thing? I don't know.
Well, here's the perfect example.
Go.
In 6A girls.
6A girls.
Yes. Cardinal O'Hara is the 12-3.
Yeah.
Cardinal O'Hara.
Yeah, which just won states a couple years ago.
Which is
they're
a
great.
state perennial power.
Yes.
So if they get in the tournament, Downingtown East gets O'Hara as 12-3.
Yeah, and Downingtown East is good.
Yeah, well, but they're bounced now. They're done because of that matchup.
Yep.
Meanwhile, 12-2 is Central High School, which faces Parkland and scores 15 points.
50-15 they lost.
So the difference between 12-2 and 12-3
Yep.
is gigantic, and 12-3 is better.
Yeah.
So we're doing something wrong here. That shouldn't happen.
I don't know.
And that's not based on them playing each other, because if they played each other, O'Hara would win.
Yeah.
So it can't be like that. You got to have some sort of postseason seeding formula to create these matchups.
Yeah, I don't know when or if they tweak up some of these on these brackets, but they're the same every year.
Yeah. So now
Top of the bracket, 1-1. It's
Wilson gets Cardinal O'Hara.
Yeah.
The District 3 champ.
Yeah.
That's a brutal second round matchup.
It is big time. Yeah, Wilson won by 15. All right, let's get off that soapbox. But we said pre-tournament, keep an eye on the District 12 things, and then we saw what happened in the first round. So,
And another example, Berks Catholic boys
out.
get Carver.
Yeah.
Carver played in a public league game, and they were beating Constitution.
Ooh.
And there was some kind of little altercation or something, and players left the court.
Yeah.
So Carver wound up forfeiting a game they were obviously going to win.
Okay.
So now Berks Catholic ends up with Carver as the 12-5.
12-5.
And season's over.
Yeah, we thought we pegged them to go really deep,
Yeah.
and they're out. Yeah, there were some upsets, just based on seeds. But all right, quick look at these girls' games. LS Mount St. Joe. Mount St. Joe's really good. Nickname Mount St. Joe?
I don't know.
The Magic.
I might have known that in my younger days.
Yes, they have 21 wins. They play in that Catholic Academies League. They're always good, strong, and they beat Southern Lehigh in the first round. So LS, big test here against Mount St. Joe. Mannheim Central gets Peters Township. They beat Susquehannock from District 3 in the first round in overtime by 5.
So winnable maybe for Mannheim Central.
Peters Township is 14-11.
Yeah. There you go.
Hey, Central is like house money now. Second time in the state Sweet 16 for the Barons. Enjoy Altoona. Pequay Valley and Schuylkill Haven. Pequay Valley came back and won that game last year by 3. They'll play on the big court at Geigel. Pequay can win. Pequay can win. They beat this team. We shall see. They'd love to get back to the Elite 8 again. And they beat Mastery North Charter Pickett.
Yeah, one of those District 12 games.
59-19, and it wasn't even that. It wasn't even that close. So we'll see how the Braves handle them. New Covenant Christian plays Delco Christian. Delco Christian is 26-2.
That's a tough matchup.
Yeah,
They're very good.
They're tough, and they have a freshman named Dom Good, I think is her last name. She's had a couple of 40-point games. Freshman. She scored 20 in the first round. They beat who did they beat? They beat Mount Calvary out of CCAC. So New Covenant's 25-3. Demler, Cantner, the whole crowd. 6-point win in the first round over Northumberland Christian. So tough matchup for New Covenant. Linville Hill gets Southern Fulton. They have a kid named Bailey Hull, averages 24. So she can score. We'll see how Linville does defensively against that team on the big court at Chambersburg. Have you been there for hoops?
Not for hoops, no.
Real nice. It's like Mannheim Township. Really nice. got the track up top and everything. Cool place to play. We'll talk more, but where are you going Tuesday, Wednesday?
Well, Tuesday I'm going to go to the Octorara game, which is at Coatesville, which isn't too
That's
far.
not bad.
It probably won't start at 7:30 because there's
No.
a 6:00 game before that, so probably more like 7:45.
Enjoy that deadline.
Yeah, and then it'll be hair on fire to get that story done. And then Mennonites at Hamburg to face Green Pond on Wednesday, so I'll be up there for that and follow these seniors to the end, maybe the happy end or maybe the bitter end. I guess we'll see.
Where'd you say Cocalico's playing?
Cocalico's all the way out at Altoona for the Chartiers Valley game
Fieldhouse.
at 5. Yeah,
That's a cool place. Tuesday, I got Pequay Valley at the Geigel. And the first game of that doubleheader is a girls' game, 6A. It's a good one. It's Easton and Red Lion. So I may go and watch that at 6. Wednesday, I got a doubleheader. New Covenant Christian plays at 6, and then LS plays at 7:30 at Coatesville, which is a cool gym at Coatesville. Okay, you had a story this week. 2 LL boys coaches stepped down.
Yeah, there's 2 openings.
Yeah.
One of them, both in Lebanon County. One of them with Lebanon. Chris Uffner, former Lebanon great player in the 90s, was there for 4 seasons, and they were 0-22 the first 2 years,
right.
and things were really grim. And it was starting to turn. They went 7-15 last year, and then this year they kind of stalled. They were also 7-15 again, and they didn't win a Section 1 game. They had Derek Franco, they had Manny Martinez, they had 2 high-powered scorers, but it didn't produce a section win. So I guess it's back to the drawing board in Lebanon. They're going to have to find someone else. One of the reasons that the LL is struggling in postseason is the perennial powers are not powerful right now.
No,
Lebanon's one of those schools that has historically competed in the league championship and district level. So we'll see if someone can turn it around. It's been tough at Lebanon for all sports. Football's been down.
Girls basketball kind of carried the program the last couple of years.
Yeah, and they're replacing their coach, Jamie Walburn. So a lot of turnover there. The other opening is Northern Lebanon, which is Franklin Wilson Jr. was there 1 season.
1 season.
They went 10-12. They were 5-5 in the section. They would have made it to the playoffs except for a tiebreaker. So that's a pretty good year for the Vikings, but I'm not sure the story behind that, but they're going to be looking for a new coach. It was Chris George, and then Franklin Wilson took over, and now it'll be 3 coaches in 3 seasons.
3 years. Wow. Here's a nugget. Ready? Catholic girls, Lancaster Catholic. I was in Scranton Saturday. Spent the day in Scranton. Drove through some wicked fog to get up there. Wow. Catholic lost to Scranton Prep. Scranton Prep was very good, and they held Catholic scoreless for 10 minutes. Oof. That's a long drought. Long drought. So Catholic finished up 16-10. So I was like, when's the last time Catholic lost 10 games in a season?
Yep.
Any guesses?
I would say a long time ago.
It was pretty long.
You told me how rare it was to lose 3 in a row. Yeah. So to get to 10 losses is pretty hard if you're never losing 3 in a row.
2007-8 season.
I would have thought even farther back than that.
I trivia questioned somebody else about that. When do you think the last time was? And they were like, I don't know, 1995. Yeah. I was like, well, not that far. Yeah. In 2007-8, they were 19-11. So they played 30 games. So they must have made a playoff run. But that's the last time. So that's been a long time. What is that, 12? It's 18, 19 years since they lost 10 games. And it was 11. But they have a lot coming back. Catholic will bring back several kids, multiple starters. So I think they will be heard from.
I will wager they're not 16-10 next season.
Probably not. No.
I think their vengeance is coming. I think they're going to be really
probably good. Yes. Catholic revenge seasons are usually pretty good.
People will love that.
And you mentioned the 3-game losing streak. They had 2 of those. Yeah. They had one early in the year, and they ended the season losing 3 in a row. They lost to Susquehanna Township, district semis. They lost to Northern Lebanon in the 3rd place game. And then they lost to Scranton Prep. Scranton Prep was really good. They get Allentown Central Catholic in an all blue blood girls 2nd round game. Northern Lebanon had to play that Central Columbia team undefeated.
They gave them a run.
They did. Vikings put up a good fight, 35-30. Rock fight, what?
Rock fight,
Slugfest, what? So good on them for getting that far. I'm just looking at other first-round teams that were eliminated. Cocalico girls gave Crestwood a good game. I want to say they were to like 6 in the fourth quarter. Crestwood pulled away late and won by 12. Kira Lehman for Cocalico did not get 36. No, she did not. She got 15. So she needs 21 points in the season opener to get 1,000 in December. So she's got a pretty good shot to do that.
She's the pitcher for the softball team. So she's
Yes.
the striker in soccer, the
Yeah.
leading scorer in basketball, and the pitcher in softball.
Yes.
That's incredible.
That is very incredible. Columbia's the other team that did not get through. They lost to Hughesville up at Williamsport in the first round. They lost by 30. So I knew going in Hughesville was going to be pretty good, and they beat the Tide.
Catholic girls could have had a much different season. That Cedar Crest game,
Agreed.
They lose after 3 free throws with time expired
No time
in the
left.
LL quarters. Who knows? Maybe they get to the final
Yeah.
then. Maybe they win it. And then the Susquehanna Township game, they were winning until the very end. They win that. They're in a district final.
Exactly. And when Detz came out Saturday to chat, that's one of the first things he said. Unsolicited. I didn't even bring it up. And he's like, we win the Crest game, maybe we go and win the league. And then we have momentum. And the Hannah game, they're up 9 with a minute 50 left and lost. Like, I still don't know how that happened. A lot of whistles.
Yeah.
A lot of whistles.
Well, that happens in these games. You get officials who are not familiar with the teams, and you get games that are not played like the games all season.
No, it happens a lot. But if they win the Hannah game, then they're in the district final. Who knows? And then they're in a different bracket, and maybe they don't get Scranton Prep.
They get a much better draw in states for sure. Yeah.
And you hate to say that, but it's like, okay, Scranton Prep's really good. Scranton Prep went 6'1", 6 foot, 5'10", and they were athletic and they ran the floor. They made tons of shots and really beat Catholic up in the paint. Catholic couldn't even get through to get layups. I thought Scranton Prep defended wonderfully. So, all right, what else you got? Anything? We're running out of teams here.
We announced the LL All-Stars for
Yes.
the boys' side and the
Saw
girls'
that.
side.
Yes.
I think the boys came out after our last podcast.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much chalk, I think. It was The choices seemed pretty easy. It was Demir Salisbury and Timmy Hambright were 2 of the top vote getters. Then Your Majesty Washington and Chase Hurst.
Okay.
They all got almost every vote.
Okay.
And then the last 2 spots were Jamar Paulius for Cedar Crest, sophomore.
Yes.
He's one of those guys who's going to be part of the bright future for the Falcons. And Vito Vespi
Nice.
at Octorara got the nod, which was good because Octorara had 3 section All-Stars, Vespi, Vincent Thaler, and Chase Fetro, and Lazo Christou was the Defensive Player of the Year. So all 4 of their seniors got a piece of the postseason.
And they should
awards.
have. They should have.
It was their section this year. They went 10-0. So what can you can't knock that. So I thought the coaches did a good job. I thought those were the 6, and then a lot of those guys are back. Got a couple sophomores with Salisbury and Paulius. So maybe the LL's headed for an upturn
I
here.
hope so. The sensational 6.
Yes.
Girls MVPs were Olive Brandt in Section 1. Not surprised. 25 points a game. She was incredible. Section 2 MVP was Warfel from Warwick. 63s. They won their first section title since 91. Wow. Section 3 was Nevaeh Kennedy from Lancaster Catholic. Had a great year. She got hurt Saturday. She took a spill, a gnarly spill up at Scranton. And never came back in the game. She sat on the bench with an ice pack on the top of her head the whole second half, so that didn't help. Section 4 MVP was Janae Patterson. She's at 1,725 points going into Tuesday. Wow.
Yeah, one of the all-timers. And
Yeah, and I will nominate her for states again, for all state, and I'd be stunned if she doesn't make it. She's been unbelievable.
the other thing that win for Cocalico does is it helps Timmy Hambright's all-state case.
Yes.
Sometimes a kid puts up great numbers, but they don't win a playoff game, like one that people notice.
Surely.
That will help his cause.
The Timmy Hambread Experience, I think it's been dubbed.
Yes, it has been. I came up with that. It's like Jimi Hendrix, but different.
Yeah, I'm sure out in the community they're referred. The Cocalico folks are referring.
It's like the Killer Bees. It took off like wildfire.
Exactly. Okay, we'll see who gets through. Somebody will win. We'll have somebody get to the weekend, I think. I hope.
I think for sure, at least one.
Yeah, somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to win. Okay, anything else for the good, or are we done?
That's it. It's warm this week. Spring practice.
I know.
Kids are going to get outside and play real baseball and softball.
Unbelievable. It's supposed to be in the 70s. I can wash my car finally. Jeez.
Yes, and it's not dark at 5 o'clock. So
I know it's darker.
The world's a brighter place. Literally.
I know it was darker in the morning, but it'll be nice. 7, 8 o'clock with the sun up. Okay, we're done. If anybody wins, we'll catch you next week for another podcast. Stay tuned for all the coverage. Jason and I will be all over the state this week. Extra Online, pick up a paper. We'll have coverage of these games. So stay tuned. Okay, that's a wrap. For Jason, I'm Jeff. Tyler, thank you. This has been the Full Court Press podcast, talking everything local hoops. Enjoy the state games. Good luck to the local teams, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks.